It's me again, your bad grandpa, Charlie Michaels. And I've got some bad news for you. Like the title says, you're not saved. Not even a little bit. So sorry. Not eternally saved. Not if you are alive. No one is. Not me. Not you. Yeah, I know this is upsetting news to some of you. Well, it should be. It is appointed unto a man once to die, and then the judgment. That's what the author of Hebrews told his Christian brothers. It is appointed unto a man once to die, and then the judgment. Chapter 9, verse 27 of Hebrews. Now, that statement makes zero sense if his Christian brothers are already saved. What is there to judge? I'm saved. You're not saved. In fact, the whole point of the letter to the Hebrews is to make sure that someday they will be declared righteous. At the time that the author wrote the letter, that was a subject of some doubt. There are at least 5 distinct warning passages in the letter to the Hebrews, which is why Martin Luther had very little use for that letter. Martin Luther, like the other greasy gracers who reformed the church, he claimed that once you are saved, you are always saved. And all you had to do to be saved was simply believe the right warm and fuzzy thoughts about Jesus. And you're saved forever. Well, to this day, similar preaching quacks of much less renown are out here gaslighting you with the same misinformation. So sorry, but there is a difference between being just and being eternally saved. You can be just right now, and I pray that you are. If you are, like me, sold to the throne of Jesus Christ, if you have transferred executive authority of yourself to Christ's throne, then you are indeed just. But being just today doesn't guarantee that 2 weeks from today you will be just. 2 weeks from today, you could have apostatized. 2 weeks from today, you could have blasphemed the Holy Ghost, taken the mark of the beast, revised the letter of Revelation. Lots of things could change your status. Now, this is a very controversial subject, which is why I'm not going to try and cover it all in this soundbite here. This is basically a preview of a series I want to do this fall. I did something similar to it a couple of years ago, but it was much more lengthy lessons. I think it was entitled Saved My Arse. In any case, I'd like to go through some of these spurious proof texts that people use, especially Protestant pastors, to tell their congregations that they've already been saved. It's a done deal. Nothing can change that. A lot can change that. Again, being just is not being eternally saved. Being eternally saved comes on Judgment Day. 2 Corinthians 5:10, we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. What for if we've already been saved? Same thing, the great white throne judgment. And no, that's not just for unbelievers. If it was, what's the point? What's there to be judged? They're all going to hell. They're unbelievers. No, it's for everyone, the great white throne judgment. That comes in Revelation chapter 20, verses 12 to 15. You will stand at that judgment. And there it will be determined whose life was it. Did you indeed transfer executive authority of yourself to the throne of Jesus Christ? Or did you choose to remain your own Lord in this life? Because if you chose the latter, you will stand in your own righteousness and you're not going to do too well. If you chose the former, if you did indeed transfer executive authority of yourself to the throne of Jesus Christ, you will stand in his righteousness. And I don't care how imperfect you were, how poor of a servant you were, if you sincerely transferred the ownership of yourself to Christ. You will stand in his righteousness because you were his. That's the key thing. Who did you belong to? That's what will be determined on Judgment Day. These verses that you're so familiar with, Ephesians 2:8-9, for by grace ye are saved. Titus 3:5, for not of works of righteousness that he saved us. You've all been trained to eisegete from hell after that verb saved, which, to be honest with you, that verb saved could have been translated other ways, and in fact, that verb is translated other ways in the New Testament. I'm going to go through this in the fall series, one by one, all of these spurious proof texts. I'll say now, because I know that's what you're saying, well, Charlie, Ephesians 2:8 says, well, by grace you were saved. No, you're eisegeting from hell. You don't have that right. The context of Ephesians 2 is this life, not the next. Okay? You don't get to eisegete from hell there, or after Acts 16:31, or Acts 4:12, or Titus 3:5. Titus 3:5 is talking about being saved from the condition they were in Titus 3:3. I will go into all of that next month, okay? And you'll be outraged then too, just as you are now. You have been taught since your first weeks of Sunday school that you're saved because you believe something. I've got news for you. You're not eternally saved if you're alive. You can be just, like I said right now, and you can have full confidence that on Judgment Day you will stand in the righteousness of Christ. You can be confident about that. If your conscience is not condemning you, if you're moving in the gifts of the Spirit, you know it, you can have full confidence right now that on Judgment Day you will indeed be declared just. But Judgment Day has not appeared yet. That is down that long and hard road that leads to life. That's what's at the end of that road that leads to life. If you already have that life, why does Jesus say the long and hard road that leads to life? Why didn't he say it is life? Again, we will go into all of this and more in my upcoming series. Look forward to seeing you then. Feel free to share your comments. If they are relevant to the video, I might even let them stay. Have a nice night, everyone. Talk to you soon.